Are we just kind of getting a little ridiculous with these bans? Are we not going?
What took so long? No, we're not going too far. What took so long?
He's president. He just banned the president from shit.
What does that mean? We live?
We live.
Welcome back to the Opinion Factory Podcast, the podcast for free thinkers and challenge seekers.
Yes, sir.
I'm Khalil.
I'm Alex. Unless you've been living on the rock, your boy Trump got banned from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, bro, this dude can't even post a recipe on Pinterest, bro. He got banned off Pinterest, man.
Right.
For some reason, Grindr's in there.
He got banned from Grindr. Isn't Grindr the dating app for homosexual men?
I don't know who's making. You see, like limited use or banned, right? So
all right,
from there, right, and then Twitch, because Twitch is so tolerant of everything. But are we just kind of getting a little ridiculous with these bans? Are we not going?
What took so long? No, we're not going too far. What took so long?
He's president. He just banned the president from shit.
What does that mean? That he's president?
That he needs to have a public platform where he can reach out to people.
No.
Communicate.
Yeah, and that's what
engage.
They have press conferences. They have so many. He have State of the Union. He has so many.
How many people watch press conferences, bro?
The people who care about politics will watch press conferences. No, that's not true, man.
The people who care about politics also go to YouTube to watch those.
That's not where they should be getting their politics
from.
Why?
There's ABC News on YouTube. There's NBC News on YouTube.
Well,
YouTube.
They're not. I don't think they're going to YouTube for ABC News and CNN and Fox. They're going for like the third party channels like us, where we talk about what happened. See, we told them that he got banned from Grindr, but did he really get banned from Grindr? People gonna see. We saw that he did, but what if he didn't? What if we were misinformed and now the people getting the third party information are not being misinformed?
They can be. So maybe if you get it from third party information, you should do a little extra work to verify.
All right, who's gonna do the extra work? I'm just saying.
If you're trying to be well educated and informed, you might have to do a little extra research to see if that's true.
People don't want to be well educated.
If you're already going,
they want to be right.
If you're already going out your way for a third party,
it's not the way. It's YouTube. It's social media. They're going to Facebook.
So what's another Google search to you, or just a little more? But more other peer reviewed source. Bro.
There's no another Google search. You open the app and you scroll and it's recommended.
So we talked about this a while ago. Who can you trust, media or gov? Right? Remember that we dropped that probably.
I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
And we got into this whole thing, right? Media has its own narratives and interests and money to make. Government has its own secrets to hide.
And money to make.
Yeah. So it becomes, who do you trust? And now we're looking at all these bans on the president.
But
my thing is why is he getting banned? Like, is it not a slippery slope to ban somebody for, like, what would you call it, hate speech or inciting violence?
No. And
inciting violence is not protected under the First Amendment, right?
It's not.
It's like the same reason why you can't scream fire in a crowded movie theater.
Right.
Right, because you're using language that will cause danger to other people.
And it's the same reason.
It's likely to cause danger to other people.
Well, you can't just walk up to a stranger and say, "Yo, I'm going to murder you really soon." Like, that's illegal.
Yeah, that is illegal, right?
Right.
There's absolute free speech is anarchy. Can't have that, right? Absolute freedom is anarchy.
So you think this is related to free speech? These bans?
I mean, that's what I'm hearing. Or maybe not even free speech, but censorship, right? Because now, if you're on the right-leaning political parties, right, like all your people are getting banned. They didn't just ban Trump; they banned Michael Flynn or suspended. Banned or suspended, right? Yeah. I mean, they said they permanently suspended his account, so I just assume that's a ban.
I think permanent suspension is pretty much a ban.
If Facebook's limiting it for until inauguration, whatever.
YouTube did on this podcast.
So if you have those things, right? All these people are getting suspended or banned, right? Yeah, not just Trump, but his lawyer, Michael Flynn, all the other people.
They just lost Alex Jones a couple months ago.
Yeah, still the goal, bro. Still the goal, bro. Dude's funny as hell, man. All these people, not even talking about taking Ted Cruz off or that new congressman from Missouri. Whatever, all the right-leaning Republican, conservative guys are
figureheads, right? Did Giuliani get banned from anything?
I don't know yet. But where is the case we're going too far? Are we not creating our own echo chamber where it's just only left and like middle?
No. You see, I think this seems to come from the idea that he's being banned for being conservative or being Republican. He's banned for his beliefs, and that's not the case. He's banned because he didn't follow the guidelines set by a private company on their platform, and it's really that simple.
But now here's true, right? Private companies don't have to necessarily adhere to the First Amendment.
You set your own guidelines, and you hit the I accept when you make your profile.
And people can,
and you're held to that.
People can disagree,
regardless if you're public office.
Right? Question though: are these companies not so big that now they aren't really like just private companies? It might sound like I don't want to say it's like a socialist thing or like a communist thing.
I know what you're getting at.
Aren't they so big
that they're beholden to the people now?
Yeah, it's like kind of like a dependent. It's like internet, right? You need the internet to survive in 2021.
Right.
Right, whether it's for work, transactions, money, purchases, whatever. So wouldn't it be fair to kind of argue that even though Verizon and Comcast are private companies, that they've kind of more gone towards becoming public utilities, right? That things that we need to survive, the same way you need a public utility for water and gas in the modern era, you need big tech to like communicate, to talk. Like imagine trying to run a business, bro, and you can't use social media. Like you know how hard that is.
I mean, like, I know what you mean.
Imagine trying to communicate with people, and you can't go to the most popular sites that people communicate.
But why can't you go there?
Because you got banned.
Why though? That's the thing.
Because
why?
you didn't adhere to private guidelines. I'm just saying, should there be like a mediator between the? Is it not just a private company anymore? Bro?
I don't.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's a slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope.
Because once you get successful enough, now you can't even set your own rules. Now you have to become what the people want you to become.
You're not supposed to have monopolies though, and I feel like they just have a monopoly on all communication, bro.
It's not their fault. Like when you come to like the big social media companies like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever else is out there.
Nobody's touching those three.
But
nobody's touching them.
The fact that they're in the big three.
You can put Reddit in there too if you want, and even
Reddit for sure.
And even Snapchat. You can make it a big five, right? But nobody's touching those three in terms of accounts and in terms of access to people. So my whole argument.
We used to say that for MySpace too. You never know. These days everything changes.
MySpace wasn't as big as
MySpace was.
MySpace was big for teens, bro. It wasn't like a big thing. Like it was never like to this level.
No, it wasn't to this level because obviously now there's more users just in general because of technology being so accessible nowadays. Back then it wasn't as accessible.
Go ahead, continue.
But this is going down the slippery slope where if you and I were to create a company, let's say we want people to come here and share their photography, the best shots that you can take, come here and share it no matter what it is, right? Actually, no matter what it is. We have rules. You can't have violence, can't have sexual abuse, can't have whatever. Like we have rules. Right. This app or this service blows up. Everyone's posting photos here. This has helped with investigations. This has helped with a bunch of stuff. Like people come to us.
Word.
We're huge. Millions and millions, billions of users.
Word.
We're so big now that the things that are being posted here control the narrative of public discussions. Right? We'll say that. This does not now mean that if there's a portion of people who now want to post things like sexual abuse,
you can't. All right, you cannot post.
We should now allow that because now we're for the people and our rules no longer apply. Our rules are no longer what we want them to be. Just because the president wants to incite violence doesn't mean we should change our rules to allow the incite.
Is there anything the president said that necessarily incited violence though? Is like a direct quote or something? That's what I'm getting at though.
It's 100% his fault.
How?
The way that he's spoken about what's been going on with the fraud and everything, and then after they stormed the Capitol, when he went on TV and he sympathized with the people who stormed the Capitol,
but he also said that he doesn't condone the violence as well. So that's what I'm saying though. Is can you really just, as much as we want to all blame President Trump for
I blame him 100%.
So between sympathizing and inciting though. Right? If I'm like, yo, pick up your weapons and let's burn this shit down, that's inciting. Oh. If I'm sympathizing, it'll be like those people burn some shit down. I understand why y'all did it. Or I
Wait, they burned it down for you. They burn some shit down for you, and they're like, no, I get it. I get it. No, you guys are good.
But is that inciting? Is that inciting? No, bro. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if it's
not by the literal definition, so but you definitely.
Well, if that's the case, so is he breaking any guidelines though? Because if you're going on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, like the reasons why he got banned is because he's incited violence. So if he's getting banned,
and for the misinformation, and for the spread of
Twitter did start that more, but Facebook and Instagram they don't give a damn about that shit. So if you're on those websites, right? Twitter already like partially they would put like notes on his tweets that said this is wrong or this is misinformation.
Yeah, they would have all those warnings. Yeah,
which is a whole nother issue and a whole nother thing to study for another time. How do we? If he was already being fact checked, right? He's already being fact checked, and there's no direct quote of saying, "Yo, storm the Capitol."
Or he doesn't have to say storm the Capitol.
He doesn't have to say storm the Capitol. But if he's saying, like, the one I think of is like he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. But where was the call to come off standby? You know.
Here's the. If you want to see where he incited violence,
yeah, that's
we can look at how he handled the Black Lives Matter protests. How he talked about the cops and he encouraged them to use mace and he encouraged them to do this, encouraged them to do that.
That's cops though.
That's cops for sure.
I don't know if that applies the same way as like law enforcement versus civilians.
When you're using violence as a means to achieve your ends one way, how can you say that you don't want it the other way?
Because one is from law enforcement though. So it's not like I'm not saying it's still wrong, but one is from.
But he's still one is from, encouraging.
But one is from the government though. It's government to government. Cops are government workers, fam. So it's like I'm telling the government to do this, versus I'm telling everyday citizens to do this. That's different.
You can see that as different. We're talking about the ways that he's incited violence, and he's never shunned from it. And I can keep. I'm gonna find some quotes for you. All right, I didn't do the research as to how he incited violence.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's just easy to kind of say he's incited violence.
Because it's the truth. The way that he's handled things
so far. The way that he's handled things has been sympathetic. I agree with you. It's been sympathetic. But hasn't incited.
Bro, he's been riling people up since he started his presidency. He's been alienating and making enemies.
Alienating and making enemies is not the same as calling for those people that
What do you expect to happen when you tell people, your followers, these are the enemy? They want to destroy your country. They want to take everything you love and burn down the democracy that you want. They're sending their rapists and murderers and thieves, and it's up to you to stop them. And then he loses the election, and then they come and they try to stop it.
Did he say it's up to you to stop it, or did he say?
Of course.
No. I feel like Trump's presidency was like, I'm gonna be the guy to stop it. I'm gonna be the guy that stops this from happening. I'm gonna be the guy that restores law and order. That I'm gonna be the guy.
He said that too.
Not you, but I'm gonna.
No, he said it's up to us. Plenty of rally. I can
maybe he says
point you to the particular rally.
Maybe he says it's up to us as like a collaborative, like we're in this together type thing. But he said like I'm gonna be the guy that restores law. I'm the law and order. Like you remember I'm the law and order president.
I remember that. So let's make this simple. Let's make this a simple example.
Go ahead.
All right. Let's say I'm the age that I am right now, mid-20s, right?
Yep.
I'm in an elementary school, and I notice this is off the top of my head, right? I noticed that these little kids have divided themselves along very specific lines. Let's call it race, color, height, whatever.
Yep, sure.
I come to this kid and I say, yo, every time you come to school, I'm pretty sure this kid has been plotting against you, right? I'm pretty sure, at any moment at all, you're going to get jumped. Your lunch money is going to get taken. Your lunch food is going to get taken. All your friends are going to get beaten and bloodied. And it's up to you and I to prevent that from happening. And I spent 4 years riling up these kids, making them think that at any moment, everything they love will be taken away from them. Violently, even. Unfairly and violently. And these kids have been listening to me for 4 years.
Is that not just paranoia from
And then they finally snap and say, you know what, it's time I freaking do something about it. And they go and they jump the other kids, even though they were innocent.
Has anything happened to you from these kids, or is this person just saying it?
What do you mean, has anything happened?
Like, has the kids that were plotting against you have actually done anything against
Maybe
you?
they've done things that look sus. Maybe they got into a fight and they...
So now we're playing Among Us, huh?
I'm just saying. I'm not saying... Because You need to have a little inkling of truth in there. Maybe the kids that I'm lying on have like got into altercations like with other groups for like reasonable things. But now you see like, okay, maybe they can fight those groups. They'll come for us next. It doesn't. I'm lying to you about what's going on.
My thing
and I'm riling you up. I'm therefore responsible for your paranoia and your call to action.
Well, are you responsible for my call to action though?
Yes, because
if I didn't tell you to do something specific, if I didn't tell you, yo, we gotta jump these kids. If I said I'm gonna be the guy that takes care of this,
that's not all. He said that too.
Maybe he
said that too, but that's not all.
Right, I just need a direct quote. So here's my thing, right? If he was inciting violence, I agree that he has to go, and all these public forums have the right to ban him, right? If you have some dude, it's like the same way you can have a Nazi on Facebook or like a racist on Twitter, right? Or a misogynist that wants to kill women on Instagram, right? If you have those things and they're posting these images or thoughts or threats, then yes, you get them off. That's perfectly valid.
All right.
But if you have a sympathizer, I don't know if you can get those off though. Like if you see somebody the guy that's saying all this stuff is like, you know what, that I'm not gonna disagree with it, but I can understand where he's coming from. That would be a sympathizer, right? I'm not directly posting his stuff, I'm not saying his stuff, but maybe I leave a comment and I'm like, oh, I can see where you're coming from. I don't think that guy gets banned though. I think the guy that gets banned is the guy that's actually posting the picture or the offensive whatever or the call to action.
It's so much different when you're the reason why. When you're the reason, you're sympathizing when you're the reason why is so much different than just being a random sympathizer.
Can you prove that he called for violence, especially when he came out?
He doesn't have to call for violence.
So then, how are you gonna say? All right, so how?
Like I showed you, there's different ways of incite. It's like saying for me to say someone is racist. Yeah. Then to come and say I'm a racist.
No, here's my thing. You just need to prove they've said racist things or done racist things. So my thing is, can you prove what? How do you describe inciting violence? That's my thing. So if the whole thing's around inciting violence, if it's not censorship or if it's not free speech, if the free speech is limited by these companies, which they're allowed to do, it's their companies, they can do whatever they want, right? Unless the arguments are too big, which we talked about a little bit. So if the argument is that I can't come and violate your guidelines, right? If I have not done that directly, if I've done that indirectly, is that still a violation? Like, who is the company deciding what is a violation of that? I mean, I guess they are.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's like, how do we know if that's just or not? So, like, if it's like we're from the outside, we're trying to justify. All right, did this guy say it's this? Like, what do you
So here's the
define as inciting violence?
You don't need to say, hey, let's go storm the Capitol to incite violence.
If
you are responsible for the environment in which people feel justified and motivated to do these things, for you are directly responsible. He created this environment, he created the motivation, and he created it all out of thin air. And so you can't say, well...
It's not out of thin air, though. These sentiments have existed before, though.
This environment didn't exist before.
Any country you go to, there's always xenophobia, there's always racism, there's always sexism. Like any country,
bro. This idea,
it's human nature. Bro.
All right, you know what? All right, he had a lot of help from Fox News from before he became president.
Bro,
You're right. No, you're right. It's not out of thin air. But he definitely cultivated this environment with help from Fox News.
He might have amplified it. I agree. He might have amplified it.
It wasn't nowhere near what it was after he came on saying Mexico sending all this and that, and then he said there's blame on both sides when it came to the Charlottesville Nazis, right? Sympathizing with the Nazis who came to protest, had a woman killed, and now with things being done in his name because of what he has said, right? If you ask any of these people storming the Capitol, why are you here? We're fighting for Trump.
But if Trump,
we're fighting because of what he said, what he did, what he told us.
Trump came out and said this is wrong, and that he does not want this.
He can say what he wants in the moment to save his ass and to save face.
If he literally told those people to go home, is it still fair to say that he's?
And first of all, when did he say it? Did he say it as it was happening or like a couple of days after?
No, he said the same day. I know he said the same day.
Did he say the same day?
He said the same day. He put out a little. I think he had a press conference, and he put out a little, like 1 or 2 minute speech, where it's like, they stole our election.
Oh, okay.
But
all right,
we cannot. We have to respect law enforcement. We have to do this.
And so
go like. I appreciate your support, but go home. Like, this is wrong. Go home. It was like I'm paraphrasing a lot, but it's a long.
No, I get
line.
it.
It's a long.
I must have missed that one.
It was on the same day. So all I'm saying is, if it's
that doesn't matter. To be honest with you, that doesn't matter because that doesn't erase everything he said and done for the past 4 years.
Okay, so I want to be as direct as possible, so my lines don't. There's no indiscretion here. Companies like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They can do whatever they want. They can literally say no dog pictures, and you can get pissed off about that. But if you post dog pictures and get banned,
that's what it is.
That's your fault.
Right.
But when it comes to things that are not so easily defined, like inciting violence, right? How do these companies even come up with that definition?
I think they use the same train of thought that I'm describing.
And how do we know that's a just thought though? Like, if you're getting banned for no reason, or if you're getting banned for something that you feel is unjust, how do you fight that? Like, if I was Trump, if I was somebody that's got banned from whatever, I got banned from Snapchat, whatever, right? And for something I thought was literally for no reason, and they come out and they're like, "Oh, this is why your account got banned. You can get back into your account." Even though I've never done the things or I don't agree with, like. Is it just the company just decided at the end of the day? Like, even if you're the most important person,
you can appeal, and I'm sure you can file lawsuits and stuff like that. If he feels like he has reason to file a lawsuit saying I didn't incite violence, I didn't tell him that their enemies are here to. If he feels like
fam,
he has a suit, if he has a case, I'm sure he can file a case.
I just don't know how we're supposed to define what inciting violence is. If there's not a direct call for violence,
I said, if you create the environment. Which is conducive, which encourages. But did
the encouragement include physically attacking people? It did not. So that's what I'm saying. So what is the incitement of violence? That's what I'm saying. That, like, how do we define this? So if it's not a censorship thing, right? If we agree that he's not being censored for being conservative or right,
definitely
which is not the popular opinion, by the way, or at least not amongst.
They think that he's being censored because he's right wing.
Yeah, so because he.
That's false.
Well, I mean, like other people have been censored too. It's not just Trump.
Yeah, the
Flynn
extremists.
All this QAnon, all this like.
The extremists.
For example, right? You can't go on, like, Parler's been taken down.
Right.
Right, like
from Google Play.
Google Play,
Apple's about to take them down, I think.
If there's calls on like.
That one's easy though. There were users on Parler like definitely saying, "Yo, you get our guns, their blood will wash the streets," and all that kind of stuff. That one's easy.
If that's how it works, then that's
one's easy.
That's
but
a clear black and white thing.
But
you understand why those companies take it down.
If Sean Hannity came on Parler, I think he's pretty popular. He's like 4.9 million followers. Came on Parler saying, these guys in Washington have stolen your babies. They've raped your women. They've done this. They've done that, and they're coming for you next, and it's up to us as the people to stand up to them and take back what's ours. We have to take back our country.
Is that a violence call though?
And then
like,
the people that he's affected, that he's reached, then decide, yo, I'm gonna take back my country. And then they go and then they do what they think is taking back their country.
But they do what they think is taking back the country. The interpretation of what Sean Hannity has for taking back the country.
What did Sean Hannity, what could he have meant?
Getting him out of office. It could be something as civil.
Everyone talking about getting out of office will say, let's vote them out. Everyone who's talked about that specifically.
Maybe he uses different words. But
come on.
But this is what I'm saying though. Like, how do you, how it's up to interpretation, fam. That's what I'm saying.
You think it has to be intentional?
If you're gonna ban somebody from your thing, it better be like a clear black and white.
It doesn't have to better be.
I feel like
if you're making people angry, what do you think they're gonna do? Like, rationally think about this?
If you're banning somebody for being off your site, right? You're banning somebody from whatever. I think it needs to be especially something as big as Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. It should be a black and white case of why this person got banned.
Let me tell you a story.
I feel like that's simple.
True story. An older woman that I know. She's a veteran. Mm-hmm. Beautiful woman. Still to this day, like almost 60 years old. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. She was in the army. Mm-hmm. She was transferred to this, let's call it like a barrack, whatever. She gets there, and her first night there, she's trying to settle in, go to sleep, get ready for the next day, whatever. People come to her door. Yo, let's go out and party. I don't want to. It's cool. You sure? Let's just go. It's fine. No, I'm good. I don't want to go. All right. They leave. 20 minutes later, someone else comes. Yo, you want to go out tonight? What's going on? No, thank you. This goes on and on and on. The next day, all the guys decide this is the woman that I want. They start acting up. This is mine. They get very competitive. It gets violent, whatever. She gets sent to like the principal's office. He says, you can't stay here. You're too, I want to say, flammable, too combustive. You're causing too many things happening around you. You can't stay here. I'm going to transfer you.
All right.
She's like, all right, whatever. I'm causing this. It's not my fault, but you got to transfer me. You got to get me out of here.
All right, go ahead. Yep, sure.
I'm having a negative impact on this situation. I'm causing violence. She didn't say that, of course. She was like, she was mad.
Yeah,
but that's what happened.
Okay, sure.
She just showed up. Shit happened. She had to get moved.
Sure.
Was the headmaster, principal, army guy, corporal, grandmaster, I don't know what it was he wrong for removing her from the premises? She didn't tell people, yo, fight over me. She didn't tell these guys, yo, be mad competitive and act a damn fool.
I mean, I don't like the way he handled it. That's what I'll say.
But what could he have done? He could have told those guys, yo.
He could have checked the ones that are causing trouble.
Right, he could have told those guys, yo, stop that.
I feel like that would be the best thing. Like, if you're just removing somebody for some shit they didn't do.
But before she was here, everything was good. After she was there, everything was good. You can go after a lot of people, or you can quote unquote smart about it.
Dog saw a bone and can't hold it.
I'm not saying it was right, but I'm saying I see the sense in what he did. You can go after everyone else.
I don't like that though. I don't like that example.
I'm not saying he was right, but that's what happened. And so this isn't like unheard of to say you're inciting something, even though you're not saying you'll fight over.
If you just mind your business and you're saying no to people and they come start acting up, that's not your fault.
It's not. But she was the cause.
So she Donald Trump in this situation?
Yeah. As much as I hate to say, she's gonna hate this. By the way.
See, I don't like this. See, I'm taking Shorty's side. I'm like, yo, telling these dudes, get your shit together, bro. Like, damn, y'all see one girl don't know how to act. Y'all been in prison or something?
How did he incite anything?
Is that why army guys always get married before they
And by the
come
way, I hate comparing it because she didn't say anything intentional. She didn't create this environment of competitiveness and dog-headedness and stubbornness and toxic masculinity.
She looked too good, man.
Nothing about what she said was intentional to get people riled up. She didn't try to get anybody riled up. She definitely just stayed in her room, tried to mind her business. That's not what Donald Trump did. He didn't try to stay in his room, mind his business. He's out there like, yo, I'm the baddest nigga around right now. I'm bad as shit. What are you doing about it? That's what he did. What are you gonna do about it? How you gonna get me? What are you gonna do about it?
But did Donald Trump make himself
That's what he did, bro. He walked up, I'm the baddest bitch in the barracks. What you gonna do about it? So I agree that the way that it happened in real life was definitely messed up. She didn't do nothing. But if she was out here trying, saying all that stuff, and she's not saying fight over me, but she's saying I'm the baddest bitch, what you gonna do about it? That's something different.
It is.
And that's what Trump, he didn't say, yo, storm the Capitol, but he's like, yo, your enemies are right here. What you gonna do about it? What we gonna do about it?
But here's the thing though. If you're saying this on an election campaign, right? So if we're leaving it up to interpretation, if you're saying this during an election campaign, right? Then what we're gonna do about it is I'm gonna take care of it, and you're gonna vote me in power. There's no unpeaceful thing.
But then he lost.
He just lost.
He lost, and then
he's saying it was fraud though.
Right, and he's saying it was this, it was that, and he's saying how the election was stolen from you, and they're doing this to you, and they can't do this to you, and this is your country, and all that stuff. He victimized them. He made them think the enemy was theirs for the taking, and then they pretended like the enemy was theirs for the taking, and went and did some dumb shit.
So, you see, I'm more on the fence about this than I thought I would be, man. I really am. Because I do agree. If you interpret it that way as that's inciting violence, I mean, aren't stupid people gonna be stupid people though?
Yeah, but why weren't they that stupid when Mitt Romney lost, or when John McCain lost?
because they weren't
riled up.
They weren't emboldened.
They weren't riled up.
They weren't riled. Maybe okay. So here's my thinking process about this. Right, stupid people are gonna be stupid people.
For sure.
Right. Let's say you do storm the Capitol, right, and you're successful.
I really want to know what the definition of success for storming the Capitol is.
Whatever they wanted to prove that day,
Mm-hmm.
if they just wanted to prove that they could storm the Capitol and we won't back down and steal some stuff, they were successful for measuring by that, right? They got some documents. They were able to infiltrate the Capitol.
That dude got a podium. That's pretty good.
All right, but now here's where I get the stupid people and be stupid people. If you were successful in all of this, and then you took pictures on top of that, right? Can I really blame you for being that? Like, can you blame the president for people being that stupid, bro? That's all I'm saying. Can you blame the president? Like, I know it's up to interpretation. That's my whole point of this whole thing. If it's up to interpretation, then how can we decide that he's inciting violence when stupid people are gonna be stupid people?
Discretion. We're not robots. We can use our discretion.
You can't make this. But I'm on the fence, and you're pretty clear about it, right? I'm not a Trump supporter, but I'm still on the fence about it. So do you not see how this could be a murky, like a gray area? That's what I'm saying.
I want to. I really want to. And when it comes to the people storming the Capitol, but then stupid enough to take the pictures, I don't want to call that stupidity. I want to call that white privilege, white entitlement, all that stuff. They really thought nothing was gonna happen, bro. They really thought this was their right and that there'd be no consequences. They truly believe that, and I don't think that comes just from stupidity. No black person, no matter where you grew up, is gonna take a picture after doing that, like a selfie with the damn police. That comes from being white. That's my belief.
Okay.
Not just from stupidity.
Fair. But there's a lot of stupidity in there as well.
Well, thinking that you're better because you're white is by nature stupid. So white privilege has a basis of stupidity.
Thinking you're gonna infiltrate a government building, take pictures, and not get in trouble.
Yeah, that's the basis of stupidity. If you're doing that because of white privilege is based on ignorance and stupidity, man.
Man, this. Before we'll
and I feel like that
we'll break the Capitol thing down, not another time, right? My whole thing is that I don't think necessarily concerns are being censored, right? If you're calling for people to get killed, right, or if you're spreading lies on something that's causing dangerous,
which is what Trump did.
Yes,
right.
So I agree with that. If you're spreading lies, that's causing danger to people and causing people to.
So you get it.
Act on things that you shouldn't act on. My thing is, what's the interpretation though? If the interpretations are, because my interpretation is this, right? Mm-hmm. Before the election, maybe it's different now, but before the election, right? Trump is saying all these lies about these people coming and doing this, all this type of stuff, right?
Dead people voting, yeah.
My interpretation, and he would say himself, the drain the swamp thing, is that he is coming in to change everything. What we're going to do, so the we is this, is that you're going to vote me in, and I am going to fix everything that's wrong.
Right, and that's why there was no storming the Capitol before the election.
Yes, and that's why I think that's the we. So I don't know, like if you didn't include that as inciting violence back then, even though he was still doing the similar things, bro.
Right, but so there was no reason for them to be violent because they thought that they were winning. But then when he lost the election, and then he started saying this election was stolen from us. And then look what they did to you.
It's saying it's stolen. I don't know, man.
And this isn't fair. You got to make this right. We're fighting this. We have to fight this.
I don't know. I'm really on the fence about this more than I thought it would be. But I don't know, man. I really don't know.
The rhetoric of we and us didn't stop after the election was over. He continued that, saying that this was fraud. Like, they deadass stole this from us, and we can't tolerate this. We have to fight this. Look what they did to you. Now you guys don't have your cult leader. Me.
I don't know,
what,
man.
You know, like I'm just seeing it as Donald Trump talking about I'm the baddest bitch in the barracks, and yeah, the stupid guys, not the smart ones, but the stupid pig-headed guys will get competitive and do stupid shit. All right. But you can't say that he didn't incite it.
All right, I'm just wrap this up here, man, because I see where you're going, and I'm kind of leaning towards you. But I'm still on the fence about this, man.
If I came more prepared for this type of discussion, I would have got some post feed. I would have dropped it on here. But
my whole thing is this. All right, so we can leave it to the people. Do you think conservatives are being censored? This is a violation of free. There's so many things to break down here, bro. And we only talked about the big tech thing for a little brief. I think that's
we had a lot more talking points, but we didn't get to them.
I think that's a big part, though. Because if you're saying they're so big, it's kind of like if they're so big, it's like a public entity, kind of.
You feel like it is.
Fam,
you feel
if
like
you were
it
going to
is.
look something up, where do you go?
Google.
There's not even something remotely that pops into mind.
Yeah, Bing.
Who uses Bing?
I used Bing for like a year. I really want to give him a chance. It didn't work out.
Yeah, exactly, bro, right? If you look up any information, you go to Google. There's not even another website. The only other website that exists is Bing.
There's there's other search engines.
Like what?
Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, MSN.
Yahoo, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just saying they're out there. At one point, Yahoo was
my whole. I said Yahoo, bro. All right. If we're going off of who own, if they're so big, right? There's a couple things to break down. If they're so big, they're more than just private companies. They're now public entities. The same way you need internet, like we said before.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing to think about. So maybe there needs to be a little protection of free speech from those companies since they're so big. Even though it's not a government company, maybe there needs to be a little more.
But didn't they get that big because they allowed a lot more? They had a lot wider, a bigger reach. If they were very specific about what they allowed, then I don't think they would have gotten to the point that they're at right now.
Maybe. So this is not a free speech thing, really. Then, if that's what I'm understanding, it's not a free.
This is not a free speech violation.
It's not even a censorship. Well, is it a censorship thing? Since he got banned, is that kind of censorship? Banning something, censorship?
Well, no, it's not censorship because it's not the government banning him for their own political gain.
But
and to push a narrative.
Are companies censoring?
I mean,
conservative
are we
speech?
talking about censorship in terms of like communism censorship or censorship in terms of like PG-13 type censorship? Because in that,
like kind of like that. The second,
like PG-13.
Yeah.
I mean, that's normal though. We can't get mad at that. I go watch Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I don't expect to see titties and guts everywhere. That's censorship. I'm not gonna say I want to see titties and guts every movie I watch. Stop the censorship. I'm not gonna say that.
Fair enough. The question I have to all you people is that did these companies go too far in actually banning Trump? Like Pinterest, bro. What is Trump doing on Pinterest?
No, I think they banned some like hashtags on Pinterest. Not Trump specifically, but like Trump related hashtags like storm the Capitol or take back our country or something. I don't know.
I mean, maybe, man. Pinterest is like a...
I don't think Donald Trump has a Pinterest account.
I don't think he does either.
Was he going to post recipes for like bombs and shit? I don't know.
Sorry for that. Alright, man. Anyways, Opinion Factory Podcast. Find us on Apple, Stitcher, YouTube, Spotify. Wherever you listen to your podcast, if you like the video, give a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Share with your friends. Conservative, liberal, moderate, free thinkers, challenge seekers, whoever you may know that wants to...
I wonder if this episode will be up for very long. Maybe we'll get censored. We'll see. If you're watching this, congratulations. We made it. Congratulations to us if this is up. We made it.
Share with your friends.
Thank you guys for watching.
Of course.
Hope you tune in next week, and we'll see you then.